Hey everybody, welcome to GWN. Let's jump straight into replays. That's right, this is our Bombarian episode, and I'm going to talk a lot about Bombarian. I'm just going to run nonstop replays all the way to the end here so that we can see how it looks, kind of get a feel for it. My first couple of attacks, yeah, maybe not so great. I got a couple of 58%ers. I did the best that I could with it, but well, you know how it is, you're kind of getting the hang of it. I was debating whether to do this with the friendly challenge attacks first, or if I wanted to do it just straight up attacks on the game. And I decided if I was going to go in for a penny, go in for a pound. Jumping into this attack, I wanted to see a variety of bases I haven't seen before, bases that are something more than what I have on my own game, and so that's exactly what I did. I dove in head first and started taking on a bunch of bases that were just from other players all over the place. And how did I do? Like I said, first couple here 58%, then I got some in the 60s and the 70s and an 80. At the end of that, I decided to jump into some friendly challenges, and I ran those 87% and a couple of 3-stars. So I kind of got the hang of it. We've talked about this a little bit before and what exactly it is that you need to do to be successful with this attack. And none of that's changed. I think that it's still the same basic, let's call it layout of the attack. I mean, obviously, the very first thing you do is you go down with your bombers, and you throw in some barbarians to keep them alive because you don't want to lose the bombers that get you in. And as you break down the walls, you begin to slowly but surely bum rush the base with so many barbarians that it overwhelms the defenses. So I mean that's the general gist of it. There's a lot more to it than that, obviously, but that's the general gist of what you're doing. The biggest problem, and you can see this in some of these replays, especially this first one here, are those crushers. Took me forever to get the feel for the right timing on taking down the crushers. A lot of players will send their battle machine in and have him take out at least one, if not both, of the crushers. That works out really well, and I did that in a couple of these. Problem is the pathing, especially the battle machine. He's kind of screwy, to be honest. He's tough to figure out exactly where he's going to go. So you run into the problem of how do I get him to path exactly where I want him to path right into the builder hull. The other thing you can do is you can actually time out your barbarians so that you send one in, you get the drop on the crusher, and then you hit him with, like, say 7, 8, 9 more barbarians in their rage state. He's still in his refractory state there, so he hasn't been able to rewind and come down again, and in that amount of time, you take it down. That works if you can get the timing down. It's about maybe 1.5 seconds, I guess, somewhere in that ballpark. So I would drop one, and then I would drop, like, say 5. And unfortunately, it takes more than what I typically dropped, so I kind of screwed that up a little bit. Maybe, I don't know, once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 10 times. So it took me a little bit to really get the feel for that. The initial deployment on each one of these, again, I started off, like I said, with getting those bombers down and then protecting them with barbarians to distract. Once I break through to the core chamber, which in this case you can see is that second set of walls, I just start to flood the base with as many barbarians as I can. And that seems to work pretty good for overwhelming the defenses as long as you've got those crushers out of the way. But if you don't, what happened here is what's going to happen as well. You're going to end up losing most of your barbarians to the crushers. Now, the percentages, I see a lot of people using this and getting up into the 80 percentages. I don't see many people that get into the 3-star range. I'll be honest, I don't know that I've seen any 3-stars using this on my higher level game. I've seen a few on my lower level games, and this works really, really well against rush bases. I mean, no two ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can just decimate a rushed base, especially if they've got like level 3, level 4, and you've got, level 6, and you're running a level 12 or a level 14 Bombarian. You're going to just wipe them out. And That's one of the perils of rushing, and that sometimes you get a little bit further ahead than where you're able to compete with effective offensive strategies like this one. A lot of people like to say this is an OP attack, that barbarians in general are OP, and I disagree with that. First and foremost, it can't be overpowered because it requires an additional troop to even be successful, to be effective. And that other troop is, of course, the bomber. If you go in with just 100 raged barbarians, most bases, if they're designed somewhat decently, you're not going to be able to do a whole lot with that. However, if it's a poorly designed base, maybe it's just got one set of walls all the way around and everything else is open, you might be able to use just 100 raged barbarians and take it down, because you're going to be able to break through the wall in a couple of places and just go in and blast the base. So that will work. But as you can see, I've been using it with the bombers in the form of Bombarian, and I progressively get better at laying things out and how to trickle in those barbs. Last one was 72%. I think this one maybe is a 69, and then we got a 74 maybe. We finally got up to about the 70% bracket here. And the thing that I've improved is how I've been dealing with the crushers and how I've been laying out the barbarians. Those are the two big improvements that I've made at this point to my ability to do this attack. I still screw up every once in a while like I did just there. But after that, I managed to get, barbarians in to finally take out that last or that first crusher. It took me 3 times, but well, my timing's not perfect on it. I'm an air guy. I'm an airbender. Will I end up using this in my other games and attacking in general? I don't think so. To be honest, I don't find it fun. I really enjoy my air attacking. I can use it. I can be effective with it. I can get at least 2 stars in the 65% range with it. That's not very hard to do. But I don't really like the attack very much. That's just my thing. A lot of people do, though. This is a really popular, really strong attack. If you look at the top 100, you'll see that a lot of players have Bombarian in their camps. A lot of other players are replacing one of the camps of barbarians with either cannon carts or, in some cases, sneaky archers. And when they do that, they've got a slightly different attack, but it's pretty effective. It works really well. In the case of this video, though, we're only talking about Bombarian, so I'll try not to go off on a tangent. Here we can see, once again, I come in from the bottom. I take out the first line of walls, protect the bombers so they can get in and get that second set of walls, and as soon as they do, I can bum rush the core. That takes me into the builder hall. I let my battle machine take care of that right side crusher, and then boom, it's the big rush. I send in like 15, 20 or so of them. Send in another 15 or so of them. The one crusher up there would have got me, but he put a mine right next to it. That's a big mistake. It blows back the barbarians, and your crusher still comes down, but it doesn't get them because the mine blew them out of range. And that's exactly what happened, and that's why I was able to get as far as I could on this base. Otherwise, he would have taken out my barbarians pretty early there. 74% 2-star. We'll talk and look a little more closely at these now as it's starting to get into the better attacks. This one, the diamond base, but you know what? I'm still going to treat it like a box base. I'm going to come in from the bottom and the sides. I'm going to work my way up on both the left and the right as well as the middle with the bombers. And as soon as I can get into the middle, and it turns out the Rage Barbarians are going to break through first. As soon as I can get into the middle, I'm going to start sending in a lot more barbarians. And there they go. What's my goal here? Well, I want to get out whatever major defenses I can, starting off with the multi-mortar. And I want to try to get to that builder hall, which I do. In the meantime, we've got the battle machine working on that left crusher. The barbs are going to just get over there and trigger that crusher. Here we go. And boom. Down go all the barbs. Sometimes you can't avoid it because you're working out other stuff and they just end up lining up like that. Something that is kind of neat, though, is your bombers, if you manage to keep them alive to the end, they'll clear out a couple more buildings and They can typically get you anywhere from 5 to 10, even 15% more on your attack just by throwing their bombs like they do. In this case, he got us, was it 3 or 6 more, I think it was? And speed that up there. No reason to hang out much longer because this one's over with. There we go. 77% 2-star. Now I think we're up to one of the better ones. These big open bases like this. These bases seem to be really vulnerable to this attack. You take out one side of the base and you take it out fast. In no time at all, you're flooding the base with your rage barbs. And like I said, you can see it here. Look at them go. I mean, they're all over everything. They get a hold of that giant cannon. It doesn't know what it's going to do. Second volley takes down the giant cannon. Now our battle machine doesn't really have any major threat. He's going to distract a little bit, take some heat off of the rage barbs by dealing with that crusher and dealing with the roaster. In the meantime, up comes the bomber, and he manages to open up the wall to the builder hall. And that's all she wrote. We'll pick up a few more percentage points here as we take down some additional buildings around the left side here and around the base. But the point is, because it's such an open and wide open base, because of the way everything is laid out, even that builder hall taking up 4 walls all by itself, we're able to use this very effectively. And in the end, we walk away with an 82% 2-star. Like I said, at this point, I started to look at the game and say, okay, let's try some friendly challenges on some of my own bases. This is the La Remontada base, and it's on my CoC van Nacht game. It's a mix of level 5 and level 6. I think I got a couple of level 7 defenses in there now. But I just come up from the bottom. No special angle on this, no left or right. Drop the bombers and let them take out the bottom walls. And just start trickling in the barbarians, just like we have on the other ones. Bombers are working their way up. They finally get that bottom wall of the middle wall set out so that my barbarians could go in. Obviously, the other ones I sent in didn't last very long against those crushers. Oops. But the battle machine took out the left side, and that's where I'm going to focus my attacks. Since I got the other one on the right, I don't want to mess with that because I'm going to lose any bomber or any barbarians. Boom, they're gone. So I come across the left, and I just throw a few of them on the right there to try to take out any individual buildings and structures that I can along the way. And they do. They pick up a few extra percentage points. We luck out in this attack because the roaster is down for upgrade, so it's not going to be very useful to us. But it's 87%. Now the next couple are 3 stars. Again, even though this is a diamond base, it's open in the middle. This attack works well against diamond bases at Builders Hall 5. That's when it really first started being used. It works very well against them at Builders Hall 6. But once you open the apex of the base, it's just, the base is wide open at that point, and you can literally flood it with your barbarians. The battle machine goes in and does some additional damage, but it's really the rage barbarians that take this base apart. One of the ways you can build a diamond base to deal with this is to bring those 2 crushers more in toward the middle so that the rage barbarians have a harder time avoiding them as they come in from the top. Of course, there are other ways to take the base apart, but it's still, you can see from this attack, if they're apart like they are in this case, coming down from the top with the Bombarian is going to it's going to wipe the base out. Now the next one, this is one of the forum bases, I think, and I just came up from the bottom. It's a southern teaser, so I thought, well, let's see if we call its tease, what'll happen. Things get bounced around a little bit. The giant cannon manages to knock a few things around, but the bombers are taking out walls and just in general creating that funnel with the walls gone that I can send in my barbs. And you'll see that I send them in a way that, knock on wood, gets out most of the health on the left side there on the crusher. But I had to send it another volley after that because my timing was once again off. However, it doesn't matter because there's plenty of barbs left over, and the battle machine manages to survive. And between the lot of them, this ends up being another 100% 3-star. We'll give this another 10 seconds here to finish up as the battle machine walks around with his new buddies in the Rage Barbarians. Good opportunity for a quick drink of water. Here we go. 100% 3-star. Alrighty, there we go. So that's what I got for you guys today. Thanks a lot for sticking out to the end of the video. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. If you got any more questions, please do feel free to drop them down in the comments below or catch me on the forums. On that note, thank you very much, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.